Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Yes, I finally get the time. I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place today with this whole topic, Christmas thing. A lot of people know already. I literally just want to have some fun, and that's basically it. I just want to share information with people and see what people do with information. 'Cause, so anyway, here we go. I wrote before that at one point, guys, Christmas was illegal here in the United States, and it's true because at that point, with they instead of states, they had colonies. All right, that's when the colonists came over, and they were the first one here. So they had 13 colonies. All right, and these colonists they know what the history of Christmas is. They are fully aware because they're coming from Europe. So they've lived it, all right? And they didn't like it. All right, guys. So what happened when the colonists came to the United States, even though I'm going further than when the colonists came, I'm going to go way back with Christmas, but I'm starting here because I wrote it on my Facebook. Anyway, when the colonists came here, one of the first thing they did, guys, is making it illegal for people to celebrate Christmas because they were aware of the history of it and where it's coming from, and they didn't want that. All right, no, you can tell we're celebrating Christmas. It didn't last for too long. I guess when they do the transition from the colonies to the states and became the United States. But my batteries, I have 20% battery. I just want to do this as quick as possible. I don't want to blabber too much and jump all over the place because it's like, I don't want to. It's a lot of information, guys, and I just want to put it in order. So, yes, Wayne, it is American propaganda. That's my friend Wayne, by the way. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it. No, it is number one thing, guys, about this. It is a way to spend your money because the colonists, but when the colonists were here, they didn't have Thanksgiving. They didn't have Halloween. They didn't have none of those holidays. The only holiday they used to celebrate here in the United States when it was colonies was biblical holiday. And one of the major holiday they celebrate, it wasn't the birth of Christ. It was the resurrection of Christ. That to them mean more to them than anything else. So, and yeah, it used to be celebrated during Easter. And guys, no one know when Jesus was born. Some say May, some say summer, some say April. The point is, if you do any form of critical thinking, at that time, they had the wise men walking through the desert to find Jesus and so forth. I don't think that the Bible is 100% accurate. And I know people are going to hold this over my head. I'm not saying Jesus wasn't born or Jesus is not real. I just think that I know the history of the Bible. I know things were taken out and I know things were put in. But I know Jesus wasn't born during wintertime. They weren't born. Jesus wasn't born then. I'm fully aware. I will go according to summer, early summer, around April. But as I'm not saying that's when Jesus was born. It's just an idea. Most people go summer, April. I would go the month April than anything else. All right, that's just where I would go. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So a lot of people don't know this. If you guys think about it, on every single month in this country, there is some form of holiday. It's to generate money. And we all know that, all right? Now let's go even further back now with Christmas. Guys, the pagan, we all know the pagan used to celebrate Christmas. It was basically geared towards a Saturn, I hope I'm pronouncing this correct, Saturn god they used to celebrate. It was geared towards the planet Saturn. We all know that, all right? And they celebrate for a whole month. A whole entire month. And this go way, 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 way. And I'm not going back to Rome. I'm going all the way now back to Babylon. That's where I'm at with this information. So a lot of people, it's the same information. It's the same tradition when they go all the way to, going all the way to Rome. But it changes a little bit the way it changes in our society, the way they changes Christmas. Because going all the way back to Babylon, guys, and this is where a lot of people are going to get mad. Part of the celebration with Christmas is that the Roman soldiers, they get together with their wives, they marry, and these were the elites of the elites, and they give gifts. But the men used to come together and they used to give gifts, and not only give gifts, guys, they used to have sex with each other. And that's where Christmas is, having sex with each other. They would send the wife home, men would send the wife home, and these are Roman soldiers, these are the gladiators, these are the, people look up, society then look up to these people. But part of the tradition, folks, of these men were the gift exchange is coming from there, from all the way back from Babylon. And this is before Jesus. This is before Jesus even got into the picture. And you know, part of that was for men to have sex and big orgy. The Romans were big into that. They were very, very big into that type of celebration. And to them, it was normal. And that was one of the main thing that got them together to celebrate that holiday. And it was something done every single year. Now, also, a lady made a comment. It is in the Old Testament where Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah said, do not follow the Pharisees, because the Pharisees will go into the forest and cut down the tree and I'm not saying it verbatim, but you know, along those lines, take the tree, staple it down in the ground, and decorate it with silver and gold. So basically what Jeremiah was saying, and Jeremiah go all the way back to the Old Testament. So what Jeremiah was saying is that back then, before Jesus exists, he saw Christmas for what it is, even though it wasn't called Christmas. He said in the Bible verse, and I'm using the Bible here to prove to people, that celebrating Christmas is wrong, because it's actually in the Old Testament. Jeremiah said it. Do not follow the Pharisees. Do not. Because the Pharisees go into the forest, cut down trees, plant it, stuck it in the ground, and decorate it with silver and gold. This was Christmas tree back then, folks. The reason why the pine tree, the Christmas tree, got into the whole Christmas tradition is because the pine tree was one of the only tree that will stay alive during winter. So it was a symbol of life. So what the pagans used to do is that when the winter kicks in, the winter solstice kicks in, they will cut the pine tree and put it in their house and put apples on the apples, real apples, to signify Adam and Eve. You see where we get those ornaments? You notice Christmas ornaments include apple, right? So that's where that came from. But it wasn't ornaments back then, guys. It was actually real apples they put on these trees. And so the Christmas tree was a symbol for life. And it stuck in Christmas and never go. You see, we still do that. People still do it. But if people think, hey, the Christmas tree the Christmas tree have nothing to do with Jesus. It's been in that culture before Jesus even walked the face of the earth, when men were having sex with each other. And I hope you guys, and it's true. Let's go all the way back to the Babylonians, all right? And that's where the gift exchange come into play. I'm going to go forward a little bit, because the whole Christmas culture, it's stretched out for centuries and centuries on top of centuries. It's a very, very old culture. But what happened, guys, they morphed it, and they morphed it, and they morphed it to keep it in society. Christmas have nothing to do with Jesus, with the birth of Jesus. Jesus was attached to this. Jesus came into the picture in the 4th century. This is when Jesus came into the picture, in the 4th century. And during this, I know I go forward quick. I know I did, because during this time, this is when the pagan culture was being morphed into Roman Catholic, the Vaticans, all right? So, but the pagan, the 25th, in Europe, on the 25th of December, that's the beginning of the winter solstice. So on that day, they celebrate the sun god, Nipra. I hope I pronounce it correct. Nipra. Don't hold me to it, but I'm very close. Nipra. So on December 25th, the beginning of the winter solstice, in the pagan culture, it was the birthday of Nipra, the sun god. Also on that day was also called the day of Christa. Get it? Not Christmas. Or Christ, not Christ. They used to also say the day of Christa. Christa was tied to the sun god. That's why on that particular day, guys, December 25th is so important right now, because it's the beginning of the winter solstice. And on that day, Then in the pagan culture, they celebrate Niptra, the sun god, to symbolize that particular day. Now, when they took over Christianity, because listen, guys, the Christian never used to celebrate Christmas. Christmas was forced on the Christians. And a lot of people be like, oh, okay, yeah. The Christian never celebrate Christmas. The Christian used to be away from those holidays. They didn't want those holidays. Why did you think the colonists, when they came to the United States, they made it illegal? The first thing they did when they came to the United States is made Christmas illegal. If you celebrate those holidays, you'll go to jail. It's no longer holiday. It's no longer illegal. We're celebrating all over the place right now. And a lot of people think, oh, guys, Christmas today have nothing to do with the birth of Christ. It's something it got pushed in it. Because when it's something like, especially the birth of Christ, the church got this great idea. When they, basically the church, the pagan church, stole Christianity. I'm calling it what it is. I'm not saying they adapt, guys. They didn't adapt to this religion. It was stolen. Because before they stole this religion, they started killing all the Christians and took away all their books. And they took out whatever they wanted, took out the Bible and throw it away and burn. Actually, they didn't even throw it away. They burn it and put whatever they want to put in the Bible for themselves. And in their culture already, December 25th was the birthday of the sun god. They did not want to lose touch of those culture. They still wanted to keep those roots embedded in the church. So they got this great idea. Amazing idea. They're like, you know what? Let's tie the birth of Jesus to this. Because we're no longer pagans, even though we're still pagans, but we just put on the robe to look like Christians. But deep down, we're still pagans. You get it, right? So let's get this is how we're going to get the other Christians involved. Even though they don't like the whole sun god holiday. They don't want to celebrate that. But we want to get everyone involved, get everyone on board now. Because they celebrate Jesus. But we celebrate the birthday of the birthday of the sun god, when the sun god Niptra was born on December 25th. But the Christians celebrate Jesus, even though we're Christian and we're not really Christian, we're pagans, but we just stole the culture. You see where I'm going with this? So let's bring it in. Let's bring in the birth of Christ into a pagan system and mix it up a little bit. And this happened, folks, in the 4th century. This is when Christ got introduced in Christmas. When Christ was walking this earth, they were celebrating the birth of Niptra, the birthday of Niptra, the Romans. And Christ, have you ever seen anywhere in the Bible where Christ was partying with the Romans celebrating Niptra? You guys read anywhere in the Bible where Christ was celebrating? Have you guys read where Christ was celebrating his own birthday? His own birthday as a baby with the Romans? Is there anywhere in the Bible that says that? Come on, tell me. I'll wait. And what I'm telling you guys is true. Even when Jesus was walking this face of the earth, that holiday was being celebrated. But it was just named something else. And the agenda was something else. That's it. That is it. The only reason why Christ got involved in Christmas, guys, the only reason is because when the pagans stole Christianity, and I'm saying stole, they did not adjust. If you have to kill people, force people not to read certain things and not to say certain things because it's called heresy, and you took their books from them and took whatever you want out of it, add whatever you want to it. In that case, folks, you stole it by force, and they took it by force. So even though they took their books by force, they also forced their tradition when they formed their Christian church onto Christians. It was forced upon them. And that is the transition. That is where Christ got into this, folks. All right, now let's go to Santa a little bit. And you guys know the Christmas tree. I explained that the Christmas tree was basically, back then, the only tree that would survive during the winter solstice was the pine tree. And they would cut the pine tree, bring it into the house as a symbol of life, because that tree will never die, and they would put apples on it. Now, there's another particular character here in Christmas. His name is Santa Claus. Oh boy, let's talk about Santa Claus. Okay, Santa Claus is actually from a pagan god called, his name, oh man, Odin. His name is Odin. So, Odin, according to the pagans, Odin was basically a god in their culture that used to persecute. You know, if you do anything wrong, Odin is going to come and persecute you. You got to always pray to Odin, because if you don't pray to Odin, stuff is not going to go right the way you want it to go right. And you got to do this to make Odin happy. And Odin, and during the winter solstice, you got to stay indoor, because Odin isn't fly around the sky at night. Odin is on a horse, actually. Odin is on a horse. Odin fly around at night. So you got to stay indoor, because Odin is out, and you'll be in trouble if you see Odin. And you get the whole picture, right? I'm not saying that's exactly what they were doing, but it's along those lines, okay? And the storyline is along those lines. So that's where Odin came in the picture, guys. People had to stay in, because they believe during that time Odin is flying around, and if you make Odin happy, Odin's he's gonna kill you. Odin's gonna do something crazy. So Santa Claus came into the picture back. I think Santa was introduced right after they introduced Jesus. Santa wasn't in the picture yet. It take a while for Santa to get into the picture, but Santa wasn't. The image of Santa wasn't the way it is now. The reason why Santa the way it is now is because of Coca-Cola. They said basically back then Santa used to instead of saying Odin, because they don't want to keep saying Odin fly around at that time, because Odin is from their old past pagan culture when they open with their religion in front of people. And now keep in mind, these are the pagans now disguised as Christians, so they can't take Odin, they can't use Odin anymore, because they don't want to remind the Christians of the old ways of paganism, because they want the Christian on board to celebrate this pagan holiday with them. So what they did was change the outfit of these people. So they said, you know what, let's not say Odin anymore. Let's just say Santa Claus. Santa fly around at night, and Santa bring the kids gifts. So they got to be like, okay, we can't say Odin is going to perish you anymore. We're now a church, quote unquote church. So we got to say Santa is here to give the kids gifts. And keep, the story keep going, to keep drill it in in society. Santa come around at Christmas. You can't be naughty, because if you're naughty, Santa's not going to give you any gifts. You got to be nice. You got to do good. All that is from Odin, folks. That's what they used to tell the people back then. But instead of telling kids the lie were being fed to adults, and they believed it. They literally believed it. Come on, parent. You tell your kids that all the time. You lie to your kids all the time. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Haven't you parent once in your life tell your kids, oh, if you misbehave, Santa's not going to give you a gift? Isn't that a lie? I don't know why you call that, but I get it. I get it. I'm not saying you mean anything bad by it. This is because you've been buying the lie for so long that they put that lie ingrain it in you, because they've been lying to you the whole time, that now that lie has become life. Because they've been feeding it to you for so long. You've been getting that lie since you're a kid. They've been telling you. Since you're a kid, your parents be like, okay, you better not misbehave, because Santa's not gonna be nice. Santa's not gonna do nothing for you. You've been doing that for so long, since you're a kid. It ingrained to you. You pass it on to your kids, and that's basically what it is, folks. It's I know a lot of people know this information, and I know some people don't. But keep in mind, guys. Everything that you see going on at this point is all an act of commerce. If you can't buy your kids toys, I'm sorry. If your kids, I hope they can accept that. You should not feel bad as a parent. You are not a bad parent. You are not a bad parent. If you do not celebrate a pagan celebration, if you don't indulge in it, you're not a bad parent. You're not. I'm not saying do not teach your kid about Christ. Yes, it's centered around Christ, but I know for a fact it have nothing to do with Christ. But Christ, for some reason, they put Christ in it because they want to make it sound more family orientated, more pleasant to the kids and so forth. It's good. It's nothing evil. They look forward to it. No, they really look forward to getting in your pocket. That's basically what they're trying to do. Let me put it like this: the gangsters can't wait to get in your pocket. You know why? Because your kid's gonna need that new bike. Your kid's gonna need that new toy they see in the store. Your daughter's gonna need that new dress. Your son's gonna need that new cell phone. Your daughter's gonna need that new car. And the banksters are just sitting there rubbing their hand. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for them to start eating up this. If they don't get their kids anything, the kid's gonna start screaming at them. Guys, it's all about getting in your pocket. This has nothing to do with the birthday of Christ at all. The birthday of Christ is just a little bonus they put on it so it doesn't come off too bad. This culture has been around for thousands of years, guys. Thousands. Go all the way back to Moses. And I will quote, a girl quote something on my wall earlier today, and she's not wrong. She's right. Jeremiah said, do not follow the heathens. I'm quoting the Bible here, folks, for Christmas, by the way. And keep in mind, they said it's a biblical holiday now. Now Christmas is a biblical holiday, right? And let me go to the Old Testament. Jeremiah, do not follow the heathens, because the heathens go in the forest, cut the trees, staple them down in the ground, and decorate them with silver and gold. Those are the heathens. And where do you see that more than anywhere else? In the... I rest my case. Let me go to Santa, guys. Let me go to Santa a little bit, then I will get off this live call. Santa, the red suit of Santa was introduced on a global scale by Coca-Cola. Back in 1896, Coca-Cola wanted to go worldwide. This is the most money they have ever spent on a commercial. The red, Coca-Cola red, that's on Santa Claus, is patent trademarked by Coca-Cola. The reason why you see Santa in red with reindeer and toys in his chariot flying in the sky, this is because of Coca-Cola. They paid a company to put this image worldwide, and they use Santa Claus. They basically reform Santa Claus and give it that impression of, hey, Santa's in a red hat, Santa's in a red jacket, Santa's in a red pants, black boots, reindeers. That is all PR stunt, folks, from 1896. And that is when Coca-Cola went global. All right? Now, anyway, I can't stay too long. I don't want to talk too much, but you guys get the drift, all right? I do have to go do some more research on La Palma. I will do another video later on tonight. This place is getting out of control, and I just want to thank you guys so much for your time. And I am going to take it easy now on the holy rollers. I'm not going to hit them too hard anymore because they're really getting really mad at me. And I need to stop, though. I really do. I think 4 days of this is enough. All right, guys? So you guys have a great afternoon. Ciao.